You know what? Men, at the end of your life, nobody will care how many emails you answered. Nobody will remember your quarterly sales numbers. Your job title won't hug your grandchildren. In the end, love is the real measure. And today, on I Know a Guy, we're talking about what actually matters most. Stay with me. Thanks for joining me on I Know a Guy. I'm your podcast host, Steve Cummings. I Know a Guy is a ministry of bringing kingdom, and we're helping men discover and live from their true identity every day as beloved sons. We're continuing our Tenacious Spirituality series with the conversation, this most important conversation of the entire series. What really matters at the end of a man's life? Not theoretically, but honestly. When the noise quiets down, when the striving slows, when the trophies collect dust and they're put away in the attic, and when the career eventually ends. Men, what remains? I think deep down, most men already know the answer. Love. Not sentimental love and not weak love. Real love. The kind of love that shows up, that listens, sacrifices, stays present, tells the truth, extends grace, remains tender, and treats people with dignity, and also loves well under pressure. That's the real measure of a man. But see, our culture constantly trains us to measure ourselves differently. How? Achievement, status, influence, productivity, money, and recognition. And men, if we're not careful, we slowly begin drifting and building our lives around things that cannot ultimately satisfy the human soul. I have sat with enough men over the years to know something. Very few men nearing the end of life say, I wish I'd worked more, or I wish I spent less time with my family, or I wish I'd been more emotionally unavailable. I wish I answered more emails. Is that what they say? No. So why do we do this to ourselves? You see, most men eventually realize they traded deep connection for endless striving, and that realization can become heartbreaking. Many men spend their lives chasing significance while unintentionally starving intimacy. But men, beloved sons, we're called to something deeper, and Jesus made it incredibly clear in John 13:35. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples. What? If you love one another. Not by your platform or your theology debates or by your image management. Love. That's the evidence. 1 Corinthians 13 says, if I have all knowledge but do not have love, what's the answer? I'm nothing. Man, that's staggering. You can build successful businesses and lead ministries and accumulate wealth and become respected publicly and still completely miss the heart of the kingdom, because the kingdom moves at the speed of love. And spiritually tenacious men begin realizing this. Every moment becomes an opportunity to bring kingdom through the way we love people at home, work, church, in traffic. Okay, gotta stop right there. I'm completely convicted. I do not love well in traffic. Under pressure, in conflict, and this one's hard too, in exhaustion. You see, love is not merely something we feel, it's something we practice. And quite honestly, that's where many of us struggle, because performance is often easier than intimacy, and achievement is easier than vulnerability, and fixing is really, let's be honest, it's easier than listening. And producing, that's easier than slowing down, especially for men who grew up learning their value came from what they did and what they accomplished. That's why identity matters so much, and that's why I'm here every day talking about it, because when your identity is rooted in being a beloved son, you no longer need to earn worth through performance. You become free to love, to be present, to slow down, to notice people, and to care deeply without constantly protecting your image. And men, that changes everything. Your wife feels it. Your children feel it. Your friends, your coworkers, because people may forget your accomplishments pretty much after you do them, but they will rarely forget how you made them feel. Did they feel safe around you, seen by you, valued by you, and loved by you? Or did they feel managed and rushed and corrected and dismissed, emotionally secondary to your ambitions? Men, these are hard questions, but spiritually tenacious men, they ask hard questions, not to shame themselves, to stay awake. Micah 6:8, what does the Lord require of you? Remember that? to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Notice how relational that is. Love mercy and walk humbly. This is not cold religion, men. This is relational formation. And honestly, I think many men fear slowing down because they're afraid of what they might discover internally. So we stay busy and distracted and productive, and we're constantly moving. And meanwhile, the Father continues inviting us into deeper connection, not merely with Him, but with people, because love always moves toward people. Jesus did. He noticed interruptions and suffering and loneliness and fear because love pays attention. And beloved sons increasingly become men who pay attention, not just to goals, not just to tasks, to hearts. That's why this matters so much for legacy. Your grandchildren's grandchildren may never know your job title, but they may absolutely inherit your emotional presence, your gentleness, your integrity, your humility, your faithfulness, and your way of loving people. Or unfortunately, they may inherit your hardness, your distance, maybe your anxiety, your anger, and emotional absence. Generations are shaped by what we pass down relationally. That's why spiritually tenacious men fight for their hearts, not merely for themselves, but for everyone around them. And maybe today the Father's inviting you to rethink what success actually means, because in the end, men, love is the real measure. And what could possibly matter more than becoming a man who loves well? Before we finish, I do want to leave you with just one final thought. We've talked throughout this episode of what really matters at the end of our lives. Titles, promotions, how much money we accumulated, none of that, but love. The lives we touch, the people we encourage, the kingdom we carried into ordinary moments. If this podcast has helped you become that kind of man, would you consider helping us continue this work? I Know a Guy is a ministry of Bringing Kingdom, a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and this podcast exists because men like you believe there's incredible value in helping men heal, grow, discover their identity, and learn to live as beloved sons. Most of what happens through this ministry will never make the headlines. It happens quietly, under the radar, one man at a time, one marriage at a time, one family at a time, one generation at a time. And that's the hidden value of kingdom work. And if you've experienced that value personally, I would be honored if you partner with us financially. You can give 3 ways. 1, through Venmo. If you got the Venmo app, it's at Bringing-Kingdom. Or through Zelle, using my mobile number, 714-742-9625. Or online at bringingkingdom.org/donate. Men, thank you for listening. Thank you for believing in this mission. And thank you for helping us bring kingdom to men who desperately need to know their beloved sons, because every time a man remembers who he is, the kingdom shows up.